KHOU 11 Investigates wanted to know more about child death cases across Texas, and we discovered a disturbing trend. Those who are dying the most from physical trauma are also the youngest. Jeremy Rogalski joins us now to explain. Hey, Jeremy.
Cheryl, we examined CPS investigations of child trauma deaths and found a spike in the number of infants dying. In fact, last year alone, more than half of all child victims were under the age of 1.
Their lives lost way too soon, the voiceless and the vulnerable.
So I think for any Texan, you're going to say this is unacceptable.
Dr. Robert Sanborn is head of the advocacy nonprofit Children at Risk. We shared with him what we found about child physical trauma deaths. While the total in Texas has stayed relatively the same over the past 5 years, the number of children dying under 1 year old hit a 5-year high. Last year, that age group made up 55% of all children who died from physical trauma.
So two things come to mind, right? I think we've seen, emerging from the pandemic, there seems to be a rage amongst people, right? We see it on the road. People are much more aggressive, much more angry. And I think that stress that we're seeing in the population, parents are absolutely feeling it.
The Department of Family and Protective Services tells us younger children are especially vulnerable because they don't attend school where someone might notice injuries and they can't speak for themselves. The other concern, Sanborn says, is the child protective system itself. Death cases often involve previous CPS history, but were assigned to case workers overworked and underpaid.
Without the staffing, without the funding for CPS to do its work, these kids are falling through the cracks.
Regardless, it is still critical for anyone who sees something to say something. If you suspect abuse or neglect of a child, call the Texas Abuse Hotline. The number's on your screen there, 1-800-252-5400.